Hello, welcome to Redzone to Endzone, Week 9. I'm Peter. We got Jacob on my right, Aaron on my left. We got something cooking this week. As you can see, we got the monitor behind us. We got different tables set up. We're gonna try a debate this time. We've heard a lot of comments down in the comment section. You guys definitely want to see something new. We did agree that the just predictions are getting kind of old because you're getting really long and we're not really knowing what we're gonna do with them. They're all gonna be on our Twitter and our Instagram, so check that out. Links in the description. Okay, anyway, let's get on to it. So we got our first topic. We got Mitchell Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky is the face of a franchise whom that franchise does not want him to be there. At a recent Blackhawks game, there was a fan, young fan, he said for Halloween he was going to dress up as Mitch Trubisky. The Blackhawk fans responded by booing. In the game following against the Chargers, Trubisky laid another egg, and he lost because he could not score a touchdown in the red zone. Mitch Trubisky is, in my opinion, the worst starting quarterback in the league right now. I know, Aaron, you might not agree with that statement.
Let's get into this. I'm ready.
I don't see any quarterback right now that I would have put behind Mitch Trubisky. Trubisky, so far, is definitely looking like a bust, especially when the two quarterbacks taken after him are Mahomes and Watson, and they're both leading their teams to the playoffs right now in the AFC. Mahomes and Watson are just looking great, and Trubisky's down here getting carried by his defense.
Wait, what do you mean leading them to the playoffs? The Bears went to the playoffs last year.
Trubisky didn't lead them.
The Bears lost because they didn't have a kicker. If they had a kicker, they would have been in the NFC Championship game. This isn't a debate about whether Mitchell Trubisky's fans are fans of him. This is a debate about whether or not Mitchell Trubisky is a bust, and I don't think he's a bust. He's been putting up average stats. Bears quarterbacks are historically average, and he's been doing the same thing. They can get it done with an average quarterback. Now, here's the thing, right? This is what most defenses say. As long as you get me 20, we'll take care of the game. And a lot of the time,
you can't get them 20.
The Bears have gotten down. The Bears missed 2 field goals. They get 2 field goals. They'd have had 23 points, and they would have won that game by a whole touchdown. A whole touchdown. What are you talking about? The Bears defense does the job. The offense gets down the field, and then the kicker misses the field goal. That's not Mitchell Trubisky's fault.
They shouldn't have to kick field goals, though. If they have, 16 plays from the red zone, and they cannot score on any of them. And Trubisky was a huge part of that because he just can't find his guys. They put all the weapons around him. They put all the weapons around
Watch the tape. Watch the tape. All those plays drawn up are crap. He wasn't given an opportunity. You gotta give it to a guy who's gonna get in the end zone like Cordero Patterson, the only guy who's been able to do it the past few weeks. And they're like, we'll give it to Trey Burton, who's injured, and they're like, we'll give it to Adam Shaheen, who hasn't caught a pass in weeks. And he still didn't catch a pass.
Trubisky can't throw his guys open. Trubisky can't
throw his guys open. Have you seen some of the throws he's made? Yeah, he makes some mistakes, but every quarterback makes some mistakes. Philip Rivers was looking like Mitchell Trubisky.
He won the game, though.
He won the game. No. The Bears kicker won them the game. They had it perfectly set up.
Rivers had so much less chances and still won them the game.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Rivers? This is a debate about Rivers, all right? This is not a debate about Rivers. This is a debate about Mitchell Trubisky.
And how he's the worst starting quarterback in the league right now.
He's not the worst, okay? He's not the worst. His team lets him down. His
team lets him down. He only has to score 20.
And he got them opportunities to score 20.
Well, he should have scored more because he was in the red zone and couldn't score on 6.
Philip Rivers couldn't score 20. Philip Rivers couldn't score 20.
He didn't need to. He didn't need to because Mitch Trubisky was on the other side.
He didn't need to because the kicker couldn't make field goals. Trubisky is getting them down the field. Yes, they have some things to figure out in the red zone and work on that. But you know what? Some of that has to do with how much they actually work on that. If you follow what they've been doing, and I have been following what they've been doing, a lot of the reporters are talking about how all these teams are practicing in the red zone most of the time. And almost all their practice is in the red zone because they can get up the field. But the Bears, they've proven that they can get up the field because they get to the red zone, but they don't practice in the red zone so much. And so all these teams are so much better than them at getting it done in the red zone.
That still doesn't describe to me why Trubisky is seen as like a good quarterback, and I don't think he can still move the ball down the field that well because he's not. He isn't there. He isn't there in terms of yards, anyways. Bottom line is Trubisky is a quarterback.
If you can't get him off the field, then how come they were up the field so much? They have a good run game to help him out, and then he makes the plays. He makes the plays to get the first down. Once they've got that 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, doesn't matter. They were converting on their third downs a lot. They got a lot of third down conversions, but then they just can't. But then getting it done in the red zone can't just be placed down on him. You know, maybe if you don't practice it as much as other teams are, then you're not going to be good.
Well, that's one game. There was also other instances this year where he was going up against bad defenses and still couldn't put up 20 points.
Okay,
it doesn't have to do the red zone.
But let's think about there are teams that have put up less than that. Like the Packers, they put up 10 points versus.
Yeah, and the Packers, you know, they got Aaron Rodgers and
they got Aaron Rodgers and they only put up 10.
The difference is Aaron Rodgers can win his team the game because he doesn't have much around him right now except for Aaron Jones. Trubisky has a lot around him and he can do nothing.
But you can't.
All Trubisky can do is hold down the fort sometimes, and he hasn't even been able to do that this year. He did it last year, and for some reason people were calling for MVP for him, which was absurd. And this year he was an MVP candidate, and now people are chanting for Chase Daniel to come in replacement because this guy loses his team the game.
Dude, he's not losing him the game. He had what, like less than he had like a minute, 2 minutes left. He drives them up the field to get them in scoring position. What does the coach do? He's just like, oh, we will take a knee and then waste the timeout. Instead of, why don't we go for another play, take a knee, and then wait, and then use the timeout. You know, it's not all his fault. The Matt Nagy.
Well, then look at the Broncos game. Look at the Broncos game. They got lucky in that one. They should have lost that one, but they got the penalty.
Most quarterbacks do what they can to get it done. The Steelers have won games because Mason Rudolph has been able to get them up the field, and they've been able to score.
So why haven't the Bears been able to?
Because their coach is making buffoonery calls that just make Mitchell Trubisky look infantile at the quarterback position.
Okay, and now we're moving on. The last debate got really heated. Okay, so I want to try to calm it down here.
You okay?
This is hard to do.
You didn't offend me.
Clearly,
I'm mad.
So the next topic is we're moving on to Kirk Cousins, and we're gonna see what we really think of him in 2019, his 2019 season so far, and does he deserve this NFC Player of the Month?
No, definitely. You know, his stats are kind of like, they're just padding. What is this? He plays average. He plays the 500 and below 500 teams in a month, and they're like, oh my God, Kirk Cousins is not as bad as we thought. No, he's been playing the same average 500 teams that he always does pretty average or better than average against. This is an overreaction. Just watch until they get later into the season, and he can't carry them to wins.
I mean, it's going to be interesting coming down to the wire with Kirk Cousins and the Vikings because there's 3 teams vying for the last playoff spots in the NFC. Because I think you got to agree with me on this one, but the 49ers and the Packers are running away with their divisions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have the Seahawks, Rams, and Vikings, all 3 of those fighting for those last 2 spots. Do you think the Vikings are out because of Kirk Cousins right now?
You know, it honestly depends on who they play, but they certainly do have a chance at the wild card, but I don't think when you have Kirk Cousins at the helm that you're going to make it over Russell Wilson or just like anybody in the NFC. I feel like the Vikings could lose to the Cardinals with how they've been playing recently.
With how they've been playing recently, they've
whoa, against 500 teams, they could. What are you talking about?
I mean, they played the Eagles,
500
Redskins.
the Deadskins. They played the Deadskins.
Before that,
and they looked abysmal versus them. 19-9. That wasn't a game where the Vikings should have been good versus the Deadskins. That was a game where they looked like the team that lost to the Bears. Except the Deadskins are just such a bad team that they just won anyway.
Dalvin Cook had a good game.
Dalvin Cook always has a good game.
Dalvin Cook is an MVP candidate. I think Dalvin Cook is carrying this team right now. And with Dalvin Cook carrying the ball, I know this is not about Dalvin Cook, but with Dalvin Cook carrying the ball, that makes Kirk Cousins exponentially better. Okay? When Dalvin Cook has a good game, Kirk Cousins doesn't even need Adam Thielen to go out there and ball. Okay? Kirk Cousins.
It doesn't matter if Thielen goes out and balls. It matters whether or
No,
not Kirk
Kirk
Cousins
Cousins-
gets the ball to Thielen.
Kirk Cousins is going out and balling without Adam Thielen. He hasn't needed him. Stephon Diggs was requesting a trade, winking to the media about,
Exactly.
I want to trade.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's winking to the media and saying, I want to stay
wide
here.
receiver ones. They're both WR ones.
WR1s. Yeah, they also got Herb Smith, too, in there. And Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and they have all that talent. They have all that talent. Yet they still don't have what it takes to beat teams that have a winning record.
Yes, they do. They do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Vikings can do it. They're a team that they're capable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they can do it.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
Who have they beaten this season that is above 500 right now?
They've beaten someone. I'm trying to think who. I can't remember. Kirk Cousins, I know. Okay, Colin Coward. God, Colin Coward. I hate to quote the guy, but
Everybody does.
he said Kirk Cousins. I figured him out. Kirk Cousins is really good against bad teams and really bad against good teams, like good teams with good defenses, and bad teams in terms of bad defenses. Okay, and with that offense, Kirk Cousins has a lot of weapons, and I think Kirk Cousins is capable of leading this team to the playoffs and possibly going further. If a Case Keenum can do it, I think Kirk Cousins can do it. Kirk Cousins this month has really showed his potential. Yeah, he's like broken out against subpar teams, but I think once he starts gaining that confidence and he goes into these tougher games, especially with Stephon Diggs, just burning secondaries, and he's been like
Stephon Diggs.
He's been the motivator for that team. Now Kirk Cousins and that whole offense and defense just have an uplift.
We've known that
Have a
Stephon
winning
Diggs
record.
has been a good wide receiver. Adam Thielen has been a nice addition so that they can have two wide receiver one. But, I don't trust the Vikings. I just don't trust that Vikings team. Kirk Cousins has the potential to do well, but he doesn't have the potential to make plays. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Kirk Cousins has enough explosive potential to win NFC Offensive Player of the Month. So that's a lot of explosive potential to me.
Explosive NFC Offensive Player of the Month versus 4 pretty average teams.
Okay, yeah, sure, but still, you're seeing that potential in him. As long as he can do that against good
Yeah,
defense and
he's-
prove it eventually.
But
I
we're
think he can
talking
do that
about
with
but we're not
confidence.
talking about whether or not he can win games. We're talking about whether or not he can make it to the playoffs. I don't think he can make it to the play. This NFC is
it's gonna be
way
tough. It's
too
gonna be tough.
competitive. Is way too competitive with all the top teams right now.
I agree.
That I don't think even if they were good, I mean, even if they started making those explosive plays more often, and which they probably could, but I don't see it happening because I just don't trust it. Even if that happened, I still don't think it'd be enough to beat teams with like people like Russell Wilson, who just always finds a way.
Yeah, but they'll be playing each other twice though. The Seahawks and Rams.
But the Seahawks are a much better team than the Rams, and I think the difference is that the Seahawks are a much better team than the Rams, and the Vikings aren't a better team.
Okay, now let's move on to our next topic. So, with the benching of Andy Dalton, this raises the question: are the Bengals trying to tank? What's your opinion, Aaron?
I don't think they're trying to tank. This is a team that has been trying to win games. They've been so close, but they just can't get it done. Unlike the Dolphins, where they are actually trying to do that.
Full out tank.
Yeah.
Full out tank. I think the Bengals now, they're in full tank mode. They're in full blown tank mode. Okay. Andy Dalton is sitting on the bench because he was the only thing really keeping them afloat. Now they really have. You're gonna have a rookie in Ryan Finley, who's a late round draft pick, throwing to guys like no one's ever heard of, in Auden Tate and Alex Erickson. My bad. But I think this Bengals team, they had hope at the beginning of the season, and rightfully so. Especially the fact that Jonah Williams went down early. If they had him, it would have been a different story this season. But now that he's down, the Bengals are down. They're 0-8. It's really pointless for them to start, trying to reel off some wins at the end here. So they're saying, okay, we see you, Dolphins, but we can run with you guys too. So I think this is going to be a full-blown tank battle to the end. I know no one's going to admit it.
I disagree. I don't think that. I think that they're trying to get something new. I think they're trying to work with what they have. Maybe they don't like Andy Dalton anymore, and they want to see what they got in Ryan Finley.
They love Andy Dalton.
That's where the question comes up, though. Do you think they're benching Andy Dalton because they're trying to see what's in the rookie, obviously, or are they trying to figure out when to get injured? Why do you think they're benching him? Like, is it just because they can tank in general? Like,
To be honest, now that I think about it, Zach Taylor, he's their head coach. If he's benching Andy Dalton, he's either just trying to upstart the team, which I don't think will happen without Andy Dalton leading them on the field, or he's going into full blown tank mode. So
Yes, but
it has to be one of those two possibilities. But in my opinion,
why make it so obvious by benching your starting quarterback?
obviously the coaches, the GMs, the players have to deny that organization is tanking. Okay, that if anyone legit, if any Dolphins player, anyone on their team, part of their team, said to the media that, oh yeah, we're not trying to win games, that people would go crazy because they can't say that. They can't say that. But if people are going to talk about these teams and mention the fact that they're tanking and it be so relevant and just everywhere, then it's got to be true. That's where I stand on it. Because once you get just to understanding where these teams are headed and really you see I was watching the Dolphins game and the players are just on the sideline in the fourth quarter. It's still a game, they're down a touchdown, but they're just messing around, smiling, laughing, just doing whatever. A normal team down a touchdown is going to be sitting down, looking at the iPad, getting ready for the next drive, and they were just messing around. I think the Bengals are a team that's not taking it that seriously, and they got a lot of other players that are young and just trying to prove themselves right now. They haven't really gone up there and signed anyone to try to win games, and really it's kind of pointless to now since they're 0-8. So there's really no motive for them to try.
But then
No
why?
incentive.
Then why keep AJ Green along with that instead of trading him? Try to get some.
It might have been hard to.
Try to get some high round draft. Try to get some draft value in there. I mean, if you're
might
gonna tank, I mean, they would. They have Tyler Boyd. If they get rid of AJ Green, I mean, they have a good wide receiver. They have good wide receivers, so they don't really need him. They can get rid of him, get some draft value, so that if they do go 0-16 on that tank, then they can maybe pick up some good players, maybe on that offensive line to really help out Andy Dalton or Ryan Finley.
so you're saying,
Or another quarterback.
so are you saying that they're trying to rebuild?
I'm saying I don't
They're
think
definitely trying to.
I don't.
They're definitely
Okay, it's clear that they're trying to rebuild, but I don't think they're trying to tank. I think what they're doing is they're putting out Ryan Finley to see what they have at the backup position to see, if we put him in, how is he doing compared to Andy Dalton? I don't think it's blatantly let's try to lose the game. I think it's we're recognizing that this isn't that we're not gonna do anything this year. So let's try to see what we have. It's not a tank.
Once you get to that, I wouldn't say.
The Dolphins, they already know they know that they don't have anything. They've been trading away players to get draft
Signing
picks.
randos to just
So it's very obvious that they're trying to tank. But the Bengals haven't done any free agent signings and they didn't get any trades off in the trade deadline. All they did was bench Andy Dalton to start Ryan Finley because now they know that they're not going to go anywhere. And once you're at 0-8, the best you can do is 8-8. So that's not going to get them anywhere in that AFC right now. So I don't think they're trying to tank. I just think they're seeing what they have, and maybe they just don't want Andy Dalton to get hurt.
I think how I see tanking and how I would define tanking is intentionally losing games. And I think since they're benching Andy Dalton, their winning probabilities of every single game go down 10%. And that's where I stand on this.
The winning probability wasn't even at 10% before that.
I disagree. I think Andy Dalton was really good at firing up this team.
Yeah.
And just getting them going, especially in the second half in a lot of these games. And it was really just him leading the way. There wasn't much else for him. Joe Mixon did not have a good start to the season. He had a good week last week, but that defense just couldn't cover Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And now, since they're seeing how this defense is faring and it's just not there, that offense can't protect their quarterback. They're just trying to see what they have. But at the same time, I think going to a late round draft pick who they really didn't have intentions for. This wasn't a quarterback you heard about possibly succeeding Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was a guy who was in there and who analysts were saying, okay, maybe the Bengals are going to spend a really high pick on him. So I agree with you here that they might be looking at Finley and saying, okay, if Finley's good enough, we can stick with him. We'll see what we do with Dalton. If we want to move on from him, we'll see if they do that or not. But it's just there's just so many things going on right now with the Bengals that I don't see how they could be going all out to try to win a game like all the other teams in the NFL are doing. I don't think the Bengals are going all out to win a game, and that to me.
Yeah, I see where you're coming. I see where you're coming from with that, but I don't see it as a tank though. I just don't see it as a tank. I think they're going to go out there and still try to win the game. I don't think they expect to win the game. If they couldn't do it with Andy Dalton, they certainly won't be able to do it with Ryan Finley unless he ends up being like Gardner Minshew. But
no, it can be Gardner Minshew.
But it's certain. I don't feel like it's them just blatantly trying to lose unless we see this week that they just don't even get like first downs, something like that.
That's a good point. Wrap it up and we're gonna move on. Okay, so moving on now. Obviously, there's a bit of a dilemma cooking in Jacksonville right now. They're trying to decide down there if they should keep Gardner Minshew or if they should get Nick Foles back on the starting team once he is healthy again. They're going to put Gardner Minshew on the bench. So Jacob and Aaron, get to it.
All right. I'm going to say it. Nick Foles should be the starting quarterback of that Jacksonville Jaguars team. They did not bring him over there and give him all that money just to bench him for some 7th rounder. It's absurd.
That's it.
Well, I want you to go first before we get.
Nick Foles is horrible. Nick Foles is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play.
Horrible.
He gets on my nerves
because case for why it's horrible.
Because if you remember when Carson Wentz got hurt, the year that Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, everyone was so mad at Philadelphia.
Exactly.
Everyone was
he won the Super Bowl. Beat Tom Brady. In his own game. You can't even say it was the defense. It was one of the most yards in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, okay. Nick Foles won a couple good games in playoffs. Congratulations. He played like doohickey against the Falcons.
I bet you wish they could say that about Ryan Tannehill on the Dolphins, but no, he's gone now. Sorry, get back to what you were saying.
Nick Foles is a type of quarterback who plays, sometimes he plays pretty good, and other times he loses his team the football game. That's why he was a backup year after year after year. He played for so many other teams other than the Eagles. He's not worth this $22 million the Jags are paying him. I don't know why the Jags paid him in the first place.
Because he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and that's all he's done.
That's all he's done. Some player,
Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl.
Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. Every player's main objective is to win the Super Bowl. And you know what? He did that versus a Patriots defense. A Patriots defense that is top 5 like every year.
Yeah, Troy Aikman won the Super Bowl. Should he be the starting quarterback for any team in the NFL right now?
No. Well, not at his age, but are you kidding me?
I mean, Nick Foles is past that. That's behind him. Okay.
When you have a strong supporting cast like Trent Dilfer did and Troy Aikman, you can get things done. When you have Leonard Fournette in the backfield, when you have all these wide receivers with Chris Conley, DJ Chark Jr.
Just imagine what Gardner Minshew can do with all those weapons.
Look, and we've already seen what he's done with them, and they want to see what Nick Foles can do with them because they're paying $22 million. They can't trade him away now. They're stuck with him with this contract. So why would you put him on the bench? Why would you put him on the bench versus some 7th rounder?
Because
I have a counter argument.
If you bench Gardner Minshew, there's going to be protests throughout the streets of Jacksonville.
Look,
Gardner Minshew.
This isn't about memes. This isn't about memes. This is about winning games. This is about winning Super Bowls. He's a rookie, and I get he's been playing well, but here's the thing. He's still a rookie. He's got a lot of development to go through. And you know what? He can do that under a quarterback like Nick Foles, who's proven he can win games. He can play big against big teams. Top players elevate their game versus big teams. And that's what Nick Foles can do. And Gardner Minshew can develop under that. Eventually, they can decide to get rid of Nick Foles. But I think it's better to start him. And if you want Gardner Minshew to be your quarterback of the future, let him be your quarterback of the future some other time. Look what they did with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. They let him sit under Brett Favre. Look at what they did with
You're going to
Patrick
compare
Mahomes.
Brett Favre to Nick Foles.
Look at what they did.
You're gonna
Look at what
compare
they
Brett
did with
Favre to Nick
Patrick
Foles.
Mahomes under Alex Smith. They let him develop under a veteran quarterback. They let him develop under a veteran quarterback.
Yeah,
Look what the Dolphins have been doing with Josh Rosen. Why would you trade a quarterback as young as Josh Rosen and sit him under Ryan Fitzpatrick? Look, all I'm saying is right now Nick Foles deserves to be the starting quarterback over Gardner Minshew. They can develop him. Listen to what I'm saying. They can develop Gardner Minshew under a veteran quarterback. He can see what it's like with Nick Foles being a big player who elevates his game, and then he can go off of that, and then maybe in a few years, boom, put him in, and he'll be exponentially better. But right now,
this season is not about developing Gardner Minshew. This season is not about seasoning Gardner Minshew to become the next.
Why would it not
Jaguars?
be? Why would it not?
It's about making the playoffs.
What are they going to do?
It's about making the playoffs and advancing.
The AFC is not up in contention for them. Look, they're clearly not going to be able to beat the Texans.
Their window is closing. Their defensive players, they're going to have to pay them.
They're not going to be able. They're
not going to pay those guys. Calais Campbell's getting older and older.
Yeah, he's getting older.
Saxonville.
Why not get somebody
Saxonville
else?
is doing better than ever before. What is their chance?
What are they going to do this season? They can't. They're not going to beat the Colts. They're not going to beat the Texans.
They're not going to beat the Colts or the Texans. Come on, they can beat those teams.
Oh,
for sure.
Are you sure?
Well,
are you sure? Can they beat the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Can they even beat the Chiefs?
Well,
let's see here. The Texans and the Colts beat the Chiefs.
Nick Foles started the game. Gardner Minshew let him back, but Nick Foles started the game.
And they didn't win.
Yeah, because Nick Foles started the game. They can beat the Colts and the Texans if Gardner Minshew's starting. I don't think they could win if Nick Foles is starting. Or maybe they could, but there's a better chance of them losing because Nick Foles is, I'm just going to say, he's a backup quarterback and nothing better. Because Nick Foles has a lot of bad games and he has some good games. Okay, he has some good games, and one of them just happened to be in the Super Bowl. Okay?
One of them.
Yeah.
It seems to me that he
outliers
led the team through all of their playoff games to the Super Bowl, and then once at that
fantastic.
Super Bowl,
he scored 15 points against a lowly Falcons defense that year in the first playoff.
Lowly Falcons defense.
Yes,
that year.
don't even talk about
lowly Falcons defense. Let's not get off track here, Jacob. We're not talking about how good the Falcons defense is. We're not talking about that.
Yeah,
we're talking about Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew and whether or not Nick Foles gets the starting job. And he should get the starting job. You think he's gonna want to be there, sitting on the bench with those $22 million?
No, but the Jaguars, they want him
he
there.
He wants to play.
The Jaguars will be perfectly fine with him there if they're making the playoffs with Gardner Minshew and they're getting all these fans back into the stadium.
I'm sure
Because of
the GM. I'm sure the owner and the GM are gonna be happy paying their quarterback $22 million, but not playing him.
They have regrets. They have regrets.
They're gonna have regrets. They have regrets. They're gonna play him until they can trade him, and they can't trade him.
Right now they can, but
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Maybe down the line you trade him, but right now this is Nick Foles' team.
It's clearly not. These players are rallying around Gardner Minshew, and they're winning games with him. And Saxonville is looking better than ever. Leonard Fournette is looking better than ever. And Gardner Minshew is making guys like Chris Conley, who were fourth stringers on other teams, he's making guys like Chris Conley look amazing. DJ Chark has been leading the AFC in receiving yards as well.
Chris Conley. A guy like Chris Conley. Are you kidding me? There's so many Jaguars. There's so many Jaguars wide receivers that pop up out of nowhere that you just hear of. I mean, think about when Blake. Think about it. Blake Bortles can lead them to the AFC Championship game. Nick Foles can lead them to the AFC Championship game.
No, Nick Foles. No, dude, Nick Foles.
Blake Bortles is an alcoholic and you let him to the AFC Championship.
Okay, that's sorry, Blake Bortles, you had to hear that. But Nick Foles, I don't think. Yeah, maybe he can reel off a few games here or there, but he's not going to lead them to a well enough record to even make the playoffs. But Gardner Minshew, yes, he can. Rookie. He's already done it. He's already proved he can do it.
Yeah, he's already proved they can do it with that piss poor record of theirs. They're gonna make it all the way to the
playoffs. 4-4.
Yeah, and they're gonna eclipse the Texans later on in the season and
they're
the Colts.
a game behind.
No, well, they're not going to be a game behind. They're not going to be a game or two behind when the season's over. They're going to be like 6 games behind.
Yeah, if they start Nick Foles, they'll be 6 games behind. But if
they start Nick Foles, they'll be leading the division.
No, there's no way.
They have all the key pieces. You got a veteran quarterback that's won a Super Bowl. You got good wide
And
receivers.
that's it. That's
you got
it.
a good
He's a veteran quarterback
defense.
that's won the Super Bowl. That's it.
And you got a good running back. You give him the supporting
Yeah,
players that the Eagles gave him, then he's gonna win. And they have given him all that.
Yeah, Nick
Put the-
Foles.
no,
Nick
no, no,
Foles,
put
like
the
you
inexperienced-
just said.
put
Nick
the
Foles is just a
inexperienced
veteran
rookie.
with a Super Bowl. That's it. That's it.
Put
That's
the
all he has. The
inexperienced-
match in the past.
Listen.
He's
Put
got
the
a little
inexperienced
weapon, but
rookie in
he's
over
washed
the
up.
over the veteran QB that's won a Super Bowl. That didn't work out so well for the Ravens last year in the playoffs. They didn't make it far. So why would it work out for the Jaguars?
Because they have Gardner Minshew now.
And Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew he started Minshew Mania. According to ESPN, he's the most interesting quarterback in the
It
world.
doesn't matter whether or not he's interesting. It matters whether or not he can lead them to the playoffs. Which
And that he can't do.
can't.
He's a leader.
Okay.
He is a perfect leader of this team.
Okay.
Perfect
Do
leader
that.
of this offense. He's making wide receivers look really good that no one's ever really heard of.
Dude, Blake Bortles did that. Blake Bortles did that.
Dude, he had Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns when they were in their prime.
Yeah. Who's Allen Hurns now? Never heard. Haven't
Yeah,
heard of
because
him in a while.
he was in his prime.
Because
with the Jags.
Blake Bortles made him look good.
Because
No other
Blake Bortles had
quarterbacks made him look
This
good.
has nothing to do with Blake Bortles.
Exactly.
It has to do with Nick Foles can't make DJ Chark look that good. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Gardner
you don't
Minshew
believe Nick Foles can make DJ Chark look that good?
There's
You
no
know-
way he can.
Are you kidding me?
There's no
Alshon
way.
Jeffrey's a dropping pass machine right now, and he made him look insane. On the Eagles.
Jeffrey, if he is dropping passes, that has nothing to do with Foles. Didn't Alshon Jeffrey drop the pass from Foles that lost them the NFC
Exactly.
playoff game last year?
Dude, if he can make Alshon Jeffrey look good.
He didn't. Alshon
In the
Jeffrey
Super-
dropped the pass.
Oh my God.
Alshon Jeffrey dropped the pass from Foles
In the Super Bowl.
in the Super Bowl, but this
He
is
made his wide
this is 2
receivers
years
look
ago.
insane. He took Nelson Aguilar from a guy who everybody stopped caring about. He was a bust. He wasn't making it, and Nick Foles comes in, and all of a sudden, Nelson Aguilar is the best slot receiver in the league for like a few weeks
Because of Nick Foles.
because
All the best
of
credit to
all
Nick Foles.
because of Nick Foles.
That's
Okay,
a bold
okay.
statement right
Okay. Let's wrap it up, and then we're probably gonna be out of time because otherwise we're gonna take like 20 minutes discussing
Look,
Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew.
I'm done talking to you.
With that being said, we will see you guys next week for a Week 10 bait. Hopefully we keep doing. Let us know what you think down below in the comments.
Let us know who you think won.
Let us know who you think won. Aaron, the guy who
We'll
left,
see.
or Jacob, the guy who stayed.
We'll see how it plays out.
We really enjoyed doing this, right, Jacob? Yeah. Okay, we really enjoyed doing this. Maybe next time it's gonna be me debating. Please make sure you hit the bell notifications so you know when we're making a new video. Hit the subscribe button to subscribe to us, please. And then please be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to know our Week 9 predictions. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
He's a sellout.
He's just so out.